with another Bookoutlet unboxing video. And this one is a compilation because I filmed my Bookoutlet Black Friday haul, but I never got a chance to upload it yet because it's been crazy and I haven't even been able to edit it. So I'm going to put this in with it. This is my Bookoutlet Boxing Day sale unboxing. So here's the Bookoutlet Black Friday unboxing, and I'll get back with you again after that to unbox this box that I just got in the mail yesterday. Okay, let's see how this is gonna work. Hello, I'm here with my Black Friday sale book haul. It's a little late because I had to wait for some books to come in. Like, they shipped it, 2 packages shipped at the same time from like the same area, but one of them came like almost a week ago and the other one just came today. So I had to wait a long time to film this and I haven't opened any of them yet. I have been so excited to get into these packages, but I haven't opened them yet. And I'm going to try to lift them to show you now. I hurt my hip at work, so let's see if I can do this. No, not gonna happen. I will show you them like this. See that? Can't even get the whole thing in frame because it's so big. First, as you saw, I have some thrift books and a train going by, so sorry about that. Let's open them up first. The first book. Oh, it doesn't have a cover. It didn't say that it didn't have a dust jacket. I'm gonna have to talk to them about that. But it is the program by Suzanne Young, and this was not supposed to not have a dust jacket, so I'm gonna have to talk to Thrift Books about that because this was just supposed to be like new, and it's even beat up. This is the one that took forever to get. Second thrift book. This is Echoes of Us by Kat Zhang. This is the 3rd book in a trilogy, the Hybrid Chronicles trilogy. It's the only one that I was missing, and I've been waiting to read it until I got this book because this book has been crazy expensive and really hard to get, and so I was waiting until I could actually get it before I started the trilogy. The next book barely fits in this bag. It is Shadow Raiders by Margaret Weiss and Robert Crames, and this is Volume 1 of the Dragon Brigade. Now on to the huge Bookoutlet box. Oh, come on. I got my invoice, which even though it's 2 pages, actually all fits on 1 page. The most expensive book I got was $6.99, and it was one that I really, really wanted. Paper. More paper. More paper. Okay, and for the book that I really, really wanted that was $6.99, it is Van Gogh's Letters, The Mind of the Artist in Paintings, Drawings, and Words, 1875 through 1890. Edited by H. Hannah Sue. Includes an all-new translation of Van Gogh's letters. Van Gogh is one of my favorite artists. I love his painting style, and of course almost everybody knows Starry Night, but I got this and I'm excited. It's sealed, like there's plastic on it. It's sealed shut. You can't open it. Okay, on to the other books. I got Until the End by Christopher Pike, and it includes The Party, The Dance, and The Graduation. 3 books in this huge thing. Also by Christopher Pike, I got Bound to You, which has Spellbound and See You Later. So this is 2 books. The next one is also by Christopher Pike, and that is Red Queen, and this is Witch World Volume 1. And there's another Christopher Pike book in here somewhere, but I can't see it just yet. The next book I have is The Lord of Opium by Nancy Farmer, and this is the sequel to The House of the Scorpion, which I already have. And I have Dream a Little Dream by Kirsten Gear, and this is the first book in the Silver trilogy. She is the author that wrote the Ruby Red trilogy, or it's also called the Gemstone trilogy, and I really enjoyed that, so I decided to pick this one up and give it a try. Next, I have Shadow Falls: The Beginning, which includes books 1 and 2, which is Born at Midnight and Awake at Dawn. This is by C.C. Hunter. I also have Shadow Falls: The Next Chapter, which includes Taken at Dusk and Whispers at Moonrise. These are books 3 and 4 in the Shadow Falls series. More paper. I also got Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld, and this is about a girl who writes a novel, and like part of it is her and part of it is her novel, which I've heard a lot of things about, but I haven't heard anybody actually review this yet, and it sounded really interesting, and it was only like $3 for a hardcover. That's crazy. Oh, and the back is like pearlescent. That's really cool. Oh, the front's pearlescent too, just the teardrops, not really. The only thing is, I don't know if you can see it, but on the lettering, it's all rubbed off. All the blue is rubbed off on the beginning of his name. That's sad. I also have Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Lanny Taylor. This is the 3rd book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, and I finally have the whole trilogy, so I can finally start reading this. Here's another Christopher Pike book. This is Remember Me. It includes Remember Me, The Return, and The Last Story. I got a bunch of bind-ups of Christopher Pike, and they were like crazy cheap. I think the most expensive one was around like $3, I think. And the reason why I bought the program from Thrift Books is because I got The Treatment by Suzanne Young from Bookoutlet, and I got it in hardcover, so I was trying to get the program, which they only had in paperback on Bookoutlet. I wanted them to match, so I ended up ordering that one off of Thrift Books, and you saw what happened with that. I also got Black Ice by Becca Fitzpatrick. I've heard controversial reviews on this. Some people like it, some people don't, but it was only $2 on Bookoutlet, so I figured I'd give it a try, and it's hardcover. Next, I have Doll Bones by Holly Black. This just sounded really interesting. It's a Newbery Honor book, which that is part of the cover. It's not a sticker, and this was on sale crazy cheap too. It's really tiny, but it's usually really expensive, so I was surprised to find it really cheap. Next, I have Anti-Goddess by Kendare Blake, and this is the first book in the Goddess War. I don't know if it's a trilogy or a series yet, but I also got book 2, Mortal Gods. Even though the covers don't match, I wanted to get the hardcovers. Yeah, and the spines don't even match. But I wanted to get the hardcovers in them. Yeah, I'm gonna deal with non-matching covers. Wow, that train is loud. I also got Black Knight by Christopher Pike. This is the 2nd book in the Witch World series, yes. And I got The Truth About Alice by Jennifer Matthew. And I've been looking at this one for a long time and just haven't really wanted to spend the money that it costs because it's a tiny book, like crazy tiny book, and it's usually really expensive. But it was on sale, so I finally got it. The next book is Storm Riders by Margaret Weiss and Robert Crames, and this, I believe, is the 2nd book. It doesn't say the information on it. I believe this is the 2nd book in the series with the other book that I showed from Thrift Books. And this is the 7th sigil. I never knew how to say that word really. And this is the conclusion to the Dragon Brigade series. So yes, the book that I had before is book 2, and this is the final book. And of course, this is fantasy. If you don't know Margaret Weiss, she writes fantasy. It's got dragons. Gotta have dragons. The next book I have is True by Hilary Duff. And this is the, I think the 3rd book. Yeah, the conclusion to her trilogy that I already have the first 2 books for. Next, I have Elsewhere by Gabrielle Zevin. And this is one of the only books that I did not own of hers. I don't remember what it's about, but it sounded interesting, and I've been watching it for a while to see whenever it would go on sale. Or I wanted the hardcover. I really wanted the hardcover, but that hasn't shown back up again. So I got the paperback on sale. The next book I have is Chosen at Nightfall. This is the 5th book in the Shadow Falls series by C.C. Hunter. I believe this is the last book in that series, and then there's a spin-off series, which I don't have any of. I wanted to try these out first. The next book I have is Revealed by PC Cast and Kristen Cast. This is part of the House of Night series. It's one of the only books that I was missing. I think the only ones that I'm missing now are the novellas. I think I have all of the actual books in the series now. And last, I have Dust and Decay by Jonathan Mayberry. This is book 2 of the Rotten Ruin Quartet, I think. I love this. It's like the real person and the zombie. And I haven't started the series yet because I didn't have book 2, and I finally have the whole series, so I can get started on this one too. I finished quite a few series with this book haul, and I got a few complete series with this one. There's a couple of them that are not complete series, they're just the first few books in a series that is continuing. Everything on Bookoutlet was 30% off for Black Friday, and they had it for like a week long, and they had a $5 off coupon that you could sign up for, so I had the 30% off and the $5 coupon, and I went a little overboard. I can't feel that bad about it. All the Christopher Pike books, I used to love Christopher Pike whenever I was growing up, so I wanted to get a bunch of his books because they were on sale and get back into reading him. Because I don't have any of the books. The books that I had read whenever I was younger were all from the library, so I didn't have access to them after. What? I have no idea. I am not going to try to lift these books because, as I said, I have hurt my hip. I can tell you that I got 32 books from Bookoutlet. That's not including the individual bind-ups. That's 32 actual books. If you include the bind-ups, probably got about 40 books. That's a lot of books, but they were really, really cheap. Okay, let's see if I can lift this. This is my Bookoutlet Boxing Day box. I only got 2 paperbacks, the rest of them are hardcover. Pop this open. I like it when they overlap the things like this, because then I don't have to worry about cutting my books. We're in! Okay, I'm gonna set this down because my hips still hurt. Oh, more tape. So we weren't in yet. Okay, and I can tell you right now, got my invoice. There's not a lot of paper in here, so they packed them in here pretty good. And they messed up the books a little bit whenever they boxed it, but it'll be okay. The first one that I can see, which I can't even pull the paper out before I pull the books out, this is crazy, is Why We Broke Up by Daniel Handler with art by Mara Kallman. And I've been waiting to get this in hardcover because in pages, and look at that. You can't really see me, but you can see the book. Look at that. But I've heard a lot of good things about this, and see how it's all chewed up from when they shoved it in the box, but it'll be okay. The next book that I'm seeing is Elusive by Emily Lloyd Jones, and I got this because Emma over at Emma Books recommended it. So I like X-Men and I like superpowers, and this has that in it, and it's got not really superheroes but kind of like anti-heroes kind of thing in it, so that sounds good too. This is another one that whenever they did the box it messed up the cover on the back, but it'll be okay. It's not very noticeable. I'm excited for this, but I think I might, I'm not sure, because if I really like it I'll want to marathon them, but I've been trying really hard not to get like extra books in the series before I read a series, which you're gonna laugh at later whenever I show you something else that I got, the paperbacks that I got. It looks so pretty. And it sounds like I'll really like it, so I'm debating buying the second one before I start reading it. Need to not do that. The next book I see, I almost didn't buy because it had been really expensive, but it dropped down to like $1.50. because it's really tiny, and I heard a lot of people complaining about it, that it was so tiny, so it dropped down really cheap. And this is The Ice Dragon by George R.R. Martin, and it's illustrated by Luis Royo. This is a special first edition with bonus poster on back of jacket. So I'm going to open that up. Oh, pretty. Decent little girl. Jacket off. So you get a giant ice dragon. Ooh. Shiny dragon. Cover up the naked book. Don't want to keep the book naked. There's a little girl on the back, on the front too. I heard this is more of a children's book, and it's got all kinds of illustrations in it, and the illustrations are blue. They're not black, they're blue. Oh, and the font is the same color as the dark in the illustration, so it's a really dark blue. That's really cool. I'm really happy with this. It was only $1.50. So now I think I can get the paper out. Nope, not yet. The next one is The Fever by Megan Abbott. And this is about like a contagion that goes through, and on the top it says the fever holds true to this title. It's dark, disturbing, strangely beautiful, and utterly unshakable. That's by Gillian Flynn, the author of Gone Girl. I don't know how I came upon this page with this author, but there were several books that I wanted. They were all standalones. This one was hardcover, and I was trying to restrict my purchases to hardcover only. So this is the one that I picked up. The next one I purchased because of Red over at Little Red Reader, and that is Sorta Like a Rock Star by Matthew Quick. And they had it in hardcover, and I like the hardcover because it's got the cool colored font on the front. But I was just looking around, and I found it in hardcover on Bookoutlet, and it was the first place I had looked for it, so I just watched one of her videos that recommended this, so I was really lucky that I found it right away. Now I can take the paper out now. Oh my god. Okay, this next one is freaking humongous. I didn't realize until after I ordered it that it's a large print edition, so I was a little upset about that, but it hadn't said anything on there before I ordered it. It only had it on the invoice, which I didn't understand, but it was pretty cheap, so I guess I'll deal with it being the large print edition and being very intimidating. It is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, and I wasn't going to get this simply because so many people were freaking out about it. It was hardcover and it was really cheap, so I figured I would check it out, but then I found out that it was the large print edition, so now I'm kind of sad because this is really heavy. Next, I will show you the paperbacks. I have Shadow Falls After Dark Reborn and Shadow Falls After Dark Eternal, both by C.C. Hunter, and these are the spin-off series to the Shadow Fall series, which I purchased in my Black Friday haul. I don't remember if they were out of these or I just didn't want to pick them up at the time. I picked up the spin-off series to a series that I bought all of and haven't read yet. So yeah, you can laugh at me because earlier I was contemplating buying the second book in the series and didn't want to buy it because I hadn't read the first book. This is what I am trying really hard not to do anymore. This one is really, really messed up. Like A Midsummer Night's Scream by R.L. Stein, and you can't even see it. In person, it has a whole like clouded area over the cover. Like I don't know if I can get it to where you can see it. But it's like where it's rubbed against other books or the shelves or something, it's got like this huge clouded area and a spot where a sticker used to be. Got stickiness on it, and on the back there's a huge clouded area where it had, yeah, you can kind of see it up there, where it had kind of rubbed against other books and rubbed the shininess off, which is kind of sad because now it looks like an old book and it's brand new. These are some really thick foldovers for the, oh, this one is really thick and this one is really thin. That's funny. Okay, the next few books I have, I picked up because of Ariel over at Ariel Bissett, and the first one is Ask the Passengers by A.S. King, and they're doing the Friday at noon weather alarm test, so I'm sorry about that. But Ask the Passengers by A.S. King, this is one of her favorite authors, and they had a few of the books in hardcover, so I picked them up. The second one is Everybody Sees the Ants, and the third one is Reality Boy. Now, the first two I don't really know much about, but I've heard a lot of good things about. This one I actually looked into. It is about a boy who used to be in reality television and is dealing with the persona that was created for him by the reality television in real life. At least that's what I understood whenever I read it. But I wasn't sure about this one, so I did look at the synopsis. But the other two I did hear good things about. I haven't really heard much about this one, but it was pretty cheap for a hardcover, so I went ahead and picked it up anyway. This next one is another Matthew Quick book, and it is one that I actually really wanted as soon as I heard about it. As you've been seeing my book hauls, I've been buying too many books, so I've been putting off getting it. And that is Forgive Me, Leonard Peacock by Matthew Quick. This is one that I was really looking into, but I really wanted the hardcover. With looking up him, I found this, and I found the Sort of Like a Rock Star. So I got my first two Matthew Quick books. I really want Silver Linings Playbook, but I haven't been able to find the hardcover anywhere. Okay, this is another Megan Abbott book, and it is The End of Everything, and I don't remember what it's about now, but I remembered whenever I read the synopsis on the website that it sounded really interesting. So yeah, another hardcover sounded interesting, just went in my cart. I'm down to the last two books. This one is Alias Hook by Lisa Jensen, and this is, I don't know if it's a Peter Pan retelling or if it's just, I don't remember, but I remember that it focuses on Captain Hook, which Alias Hook. So it has to do with Peter Pan and Captain Hook, and it was only $3.99, so I couldn't pass it up. And the last book, I've heard a lot of people say a lot of good things about it, and that is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. And it's actually a fairly small book. On the back it says, "We are Sinclairs, no one is needy, no one is wrong. We live at least in the summertime on a private island off the coast of Massachusetts. Perhaps that is all you need to know, except that some of us are liars." I know I did my cadence a little bit wrong on my words, so I'm sorry about that. I hadn't read the back of it before I said it out loud, so that happens a lot with me. Sounds like a fun summer book, so let's try to lift these up. So these are the books that I got in my Boxing Day Bookoutlet box. I hope you enjoyed that little unboxing compilation. I know it's probably going to be really long, so I'm sorry about that, but that's all I have for this video, and I'll see you next time.